Welcome to a very special live stream that's all about Curds, Cleats, and country. I'm Micah, and today we're celebrating the exclusive streaming release of Green and Gold on Angel. In this stream, you'll hear from director, producers, and members of the cast who brought this heartland story to life. A farmer who's about to lose his farm and who bets everything on the Green Bay Packers winning the championship back in 1993. We'll also share a behind-the-scenes look of the film, see our guests play a fun game, and learn more about what went into this inspiring film. You can stream Green and Gold right now at angel.com/greengoldguild. If you connect with stories like this, join the Angel Guild and help choose and vote on what films we bring into the world, just like this one. Whether it's in theaters or on Angel, you have that power as a member of the Angel Guild. Let's take a quick look into this film by checking out the trailer. See you after.
For my Grandpa Buck, farming wasn't a job or even a way of life. It was a sacred act.
Easy, easy, easy.
For him, it wasn't the frozen tundra. It was the Garden of Eden.
Does your granddad know where you're headed?
He knows I'll be home later.
I couldn't do farming anymore. I was on my way out for some bigger dreams.
This ain't your land.
Well, when you don't pay your loan, it becomes my land.
What was that about?
Where the hell you been?
Talk to Godie. Apparently she's got some musicians staying up at her cabin up on the big lake.
I'm Jenny.
Jenny, local musician. Cody said you might be stopping by.
How much do we owe the bank?
You think I like tearing down the little guy, Buck? You think I like it?
Well, your license plate says a-hole.
I will make a little wager with you. The pack go all the way, I will give you another year, interest-free. And if they lose, you sign everything over to me.
Take it.
Oh, we ain't betting folks, Jenny.
I want to take your tape and share it with my manager. Your granddaughter's, she's really talented.
Yeah, I know that. You do anything to hurt her, and I will hunt you down, and I'll gut you like a 10-pointer.
Great.
What do you think you're doing? I'm gonna take the bet.
You better pray God owes the pack a favor.
You know that no one cares about her little slice of nothing in the middle of nowhere.
I do.
I want to hear you before you become rich and famous.
No guarantee of that. You go chasing your hopes and your dreams, you forget who you are, and there is nothing worth the cost of losing everything that's wild and free.
In real life, miracles don't always arrive on time.
And the pack beat the Bears.
And the good guy doesn't always win.
You still believe in what we're doing?
More than anything.
Go back.
Now streaming on Angel.
Wow, what an amazing trailer, guys. Put in the comments what you thought. Let us know. And more importantly, go to angel.com/greengoldguild and watch the film right now. It's definitely worth your time. But let's just jump into it. We have so many exciting guests to talk about or to talk to about this film. So let's just jump into it. Right now, I'd love to Right now, I'd love to talk to the people behind the film. That is the director and the two producers. That is Anders, the director, Aaron, a producer, and Davin, a producer as well. Thank you so much for joining.
Thanks for having us, Micah. Excited to be here and chat with you guys.
And also on the call, as you can see, we
you.
have Madison there who played Jenny in the film. Thank you, Madison, for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
So the first few questions are very filmmaker focused, but please, Madison, if you have anything to add, just go ahead and jump in, and as well as the director and producers, if you want to bring her in and just have her add something, please, more than welcome. Very much open conversation. But the first question is, this film is very personal for of course, the filmmakers, having lived and grown up in the Midwest, Wisconsin area. When was the time, or when was the moment when you first heard about this story and you're like, oh, I want to make this film? Anders, let's start with you.
Yeah, it's a great question. The story is really personal to us. It wasn't like a story we kind of necessarily just
Hey.
Greg's here.
Why? Look, I am in no mood to do anything right now.
Hi, welcome to the live stream, Craig. We're happy to have you.
Yeah, it's been a while. Jeez. God.
We just started with the first questions. We were having Anders answer when he knew he wanted to tell the story.
This is a classic. How Craig comes into a room right here, just pops in and comes guns blazing. So, thanks for joining us, Craig.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. The sound, and then they wanted me to join Chrome. I don't want to go through it. Okay.
No, you're here. You're here. We're good. We're rolling. Yeah. So it was I'm just blabbing Craig about the beginning of how we even started this whole project. So, but yeah, it was a story that my brother and I, our grandfather was a dairy farmer, and so, one of the this is our first film, and one of the kind of ideas is always start with a story that's closest to your home as possible. And so I think once we realized there had never been a movie about Packers fans too, which we grew up as diehard Packers fans, and really a story about dairy farmers, and kind of a scripted story that felt like authentic and true to the farming crisis and the loss of small farms in America. It felt like a story that was just given to us, and sort of something that was a part of our our family story, and a story that we could steward and bring to the world. So.
And Aaron and Daywin, did you guys have a similar experience when you first heard about this story, to where you're like, oh, we have to be the ones to tell this story?
Well, for me, I was just lucky enough to support these brothers on this project. I didn't grow up in the area, but they invited me to join them in the project, sent me a draft of the script, and I just fell in love with the characters.
Your wife was reading Wendell Berry at the time, though,
yeah.
Aaron. Oh. And so that's...
Yes, she was. She was reading me a lot of Wendell Berry's poetry, and Anders sent me a draft of the script, and it just screamed Wendell Berry, and I thought it was very providential how it all came together.
And that leads me into a question for you, Anders. Of course, with it being so close to your roots, this story being so close to your roots, were there any moments on set during the creation of the film to where it had more of an emotional impact, this story specifically?
Yeah. So much of it, I think for me too, like growing up, just like going around to the local dairy farms that we grew up around, and now all of a sudden we're like, not these specific farms were ones that we grew up around, but similar area and similar people. I think being able to bring like your vocational craft, being able to bring people from the outside, like Craig and Madison and folks who flew in, Aaron, for the story. And because a lot of it is like hypothetical, right? You just have this idea, you have this inspiration, this sort of what you feel is like sort of like this calling that you have to do this thing. And then to have it begin to actualize, where you see kind of a spectacle where you have, there's extras on set, even like the big kind of church scene. We had folks from our community drive up, and they were sitting in the basement talking to Emmett Walsh about who knows what down there. And all of it was so special, and I think that was one of our favorite parts of it was, those folks up there, they're not around filmmakers all the time. And sometimes there maybe could also be like a false perception of what filmmaking or Hollywood or all these kinds of things are. And to bring people together from two different, walks of life, and to be able to film in real experiences with real people, sit around real farm tables, talking to the farmers, all of that collision of experiences and people is what I think that was really special, and something that I will never forget.
And of course, David, you're working with your brother Anders in the creation of this film. This is a very family-centered film. It's a beautiful story, not just about sports and farming, but it's essentially at its core, it's a beautiful story about a granddaughter and a grandfather. And that's something that I love. What was it like working with your brother to create this family film?
Yeah, Andrews and I have been working together for quite a few years, I think, which is helpful. So I feel like we can go from offset to onset pretty flawlessly, I think, at this point. or we've at least worked out most of our quirks a few years ago. But yeah, it's I think Andrew's, we kind of almost have our own language at this point, and it doesn't take speaking for us to understand each other and know what the other needs. And our brotherhood and friendship has always come first and always will, before any working relationship. So I feel like we always have each other's backs. We understand each other well, which just makes it fun. And I think it helps the project because we can support each other really well doing that. But a really special moment I was going to say was actually the main church choir in the film is actually the church choir we grew up with. So we had, which I don't know, maybe Andrew's touched on this when I was off camera for a sec, but so we actually traveled down the church choir that watched us grow up as kids, which was really special. So that was a really fun kind of culmination of the story and kind of our brotherhood for the story at that point.
And I love that. That's really powerful. And a question for you, Aaron. Of course, as a producer, you can choose a bunch of different projects that speak to you, that really you're devoting a bunch of time to. What is the message or the feeling or impact you would love for people to walk away after having seen this film, after streaming it?
I think the core message is hope. But I think to dig into that, I think I want them to walk away with knowing that the answer is in connection to each other, family. I think we're so isolated today and siloed in our own little worlds that we forget about our neighbors, even our family. And I think connection. So I think it'd be connection to each other, and importantly to the land as well, to creation.
No, I love that. And to really to close this section about the filmmaking and the creation of the film, I'd love to hear from you, Anders, and please anyone else chime in. But was there a certain scene that you wouldn't mind walking us through that really had an impact on you, that you loved creating?
One of my favorite. There's two scenes that kind of stood out to me that I think that really surprised me. I think the first is there's the big like climactic grandfather-granddaughter scene, and Craig actually politely asked to rewrite it. He said, I like the essence of the scene, but I'm almost 80 years old at this point when we were filming. And he's like, I think I have a different perspective of what I'd want to say to my granddaughter. And so he graciously rewrote it. And I find that I think about those words that he wrote, like, you go chasing your hopes and your dreams, you go looking for that thing that's going to fill the emptiness inside you, and you forget all sense of rightness and goodness, these kinds of things. And it was actually the first scene we rehearsed too, I think, with Craig and Madison, and I didn't know how to run a rehearsal, like being my first film. I hadn't done this since college, and so I think the whole thing had this kind of a full holistic scope to the, it kind of encompasses the whole film in a really special way. That was one scene that I feel like really stood out to me, that I want audiences to really like hone in and pay attention to. There's so much in it, and in the language that Craig wrote. And even Madison's reaction, one of my favorite reactions, is she just like wells up and she says, I don't know why we're doing this. It's like one of my favorite moments that Madison has in the whole film. And then Craig says, because it's the right thing, as he's walking away. So there's something really simplistic in the language, but has a lot of depth to it. So that's one scene. And then the other scene is at the end, Madison is kind of offered this opportunity by this singer to kind of give her work some scope, and she's really, she's dealing with a complexity of things that are all coming together. And this was our second to last day of filming, and I felt like Madison's reaction to when he presents this opportunity to her totally surprised me. I had no idea when, from writing the script, I had no idea what would happen to her. And I remember Madison's reaction to it. And I remember after we filmed Madison, you said, you're like, I think I was breaking, like my face was reacting to like the makeup or something. She's like, was it too red? And I was like, I think I just finally, like, on the second to last day of filming, I feel like we just learned how to work with each other finally, and in a really great and impactful way. And I love that scene in particular. Stands out. People, when they watch the film, always, they're like, we love it. It totally reinvented what we thought she would do in that. And it surprised not just Madison, but it surprised me as the filmmaker, which I think is always a great thing to have as a director, is when you don't know what's going to happen.
No, I love that. And having just seen the movie and it being fresh on my mind, I can tell you those two scenes specifically, like, they were very hard hitting to where very powerful, well acted, beautifully shot. And I think the Guild members have a treat when they sit down to watch this film, especially with those two scenes. They really do. And I'd love to move on and quickly to bring Madison and Craig into this. But first, we are going to take a little break and play a game with you all, if that's okay. Of course, with the theme of this film being in Wisconsin, green and gold, the Packers, the Midwest, of course, one of the most popular foods over there is the cheese curd. So that's why we're introducing this brand new game. I think it's going to take the world by storm. I really do. But it's called Curd or Word, where I'm going to give you all either a random word or an actual name of a cheese curd. And you guys are going to have to tell me which one it is. We'll take turns going down the line, telling me what you guys think it is, and we'll see how you do. It'll be a quick, fun, short game. What do you guys think?
We should start with Craig. You
think? Yeah. Okay. You ready for this, Craig?
Yeah. What are we doing?
Okay, here we go. So I'm going to give you the name or just a phrase, and you're going to have to tell me if it is the real name of a cheese curd or if it's just some random word, some random phrase. So you ready?
Yeah, okay. But I'm at a disadvantage. I have never had a cheese curd, so
this is great. And you're gonna have to have one after this. They're absolutely amazing. Okay, so the first one is Buffalo Blue Blaze is what it is.
Yeah, that's a cheese curd.
Okay, what does everyone else think? Do you think Buffalo Blue Blaze cheese curd?
I would say cheese curd.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. And the answer is that is correct. It is a cheese curd. And honestly, it sounds like a delicious one at that.
Okay. Nice. Got to get more difficult.
This one causes me pause. We'll start with you, Craig, again. But this one's called Midwest Campfire Crunch.
No, not a cheese curd.
What does everyone else think?
Yeah, I'm going with Craig. I'm going to stick with Craig on this.
Yeah, the crunch and the curd seem like they're at odds.
I agree. The crunch is kind of throwing me off. And you guys, very, very well done, because that is just a random word. The crunch would be a little strange to be in the title.
We want that in our curds.
Yeah.
Jalapenos, maybe? You could have a jalapeno crunch in there. It would be okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, the next one. And Madison, let's start with you. This one is the Ghost Pepper Ranch Popper.
I think that could be a curd.
It sounds good. What does everyone else think?
I feel like if it sounds like it could be a wing name, it could also be a curd.
Totally. That's true. Yeah, ranch, I think I'm going to go, that's a curd.
It does sound like a curd.
Yeah.
I agree.
Curd. So this one got everyone. That is just a random phrase.
Dang it. I'm not a good leader of this.
But yeah, Ghost Pepper Ranch Popper. Sounds good. I'll order a side of that.
We should have had a green and gold cheese curd as a part of our marketing.
Oh man,
I tried to push it out there.
True.
Yeah, that sounds great. So we'll do two more of these. The next one, we'll stick with you, Madison. This next one is Zesty Cajun Cheddar Bites.
Oh, well, that's cheese curd.
It's got to be a curd. It's got to be a curd.
Well, Craig has gotten every single one right. He hasn't let us wrong in the past. Are we all going to say curd?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a curd.
That is a curd. That's like, man, 100%.
Craig's got a gift. Out in Malibu, they're eating a lot of curds, I think. more than we know, you know?
He's a Curd whisperer.
With this last one, let's go with you, Anders. This last one is called horseradish Havarti, is what it is.
Wow.
Man, that scares me if it is a Curd. I'm going to say it's not a Curd. I'm going to say that's a random.
That is a Curd. That is, yeah.
Man,
that's real.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Man,
well,
what an enlightening few minutes this has been.
Exactly. I don't know if that made you hungry or confused, what that did, but I had a good time.
Hey, listen. Hey, Anders, on the cheese curd for the blue and gold, that should be a blue and gold Packer Whacker.
The Packer Whacker.
The Packer Whacker.
There you go.
I think if you're marketing it, Craig, people will get on board with it. If I start saying that, nobody's gonna buy it.
Yeah, we need to call up our friends at Culver's and get on that.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
Well, thank you all so much for playing Word or Curd. I'm telling you,
Micah.
the game's going to take the nation by storm. Everyone's going to be playing this in 5 years.
This is when we lose our audience right here.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, moving on. I would love to transition to hear from Craig, of course, who plays Buck, and to hear from Madison, who played Jenny in the film. So these questions will be very oriented towards you folks who had to portray the story on screen. Craig, I would love to start with you, but where do you draw from in your acting to portray Buck's story? Especially like he's betting everything he has on his favorite football team. What was it like researching for that character and preparing?
No, I just had, we have a family that's invested in farming, and I've been around it since a kid, so I did have some entrance into I think the difficulties and all, but and also the environments that those people were raised in. It was quite different back then, but it assimilated in a way of, I think, with Buck and what he kind of had this idealistic understanding of how not only it should be, but how it could be. And then, you're confronted with all the difficulties and the obstacles that go along with that, which is life. And the fact that everything's changing, becoming a conglomerate, if you will, just a massive corporate identity. But for me, the biggest thing was getting there and finding out who these people were, and then getting to know how Madison and I were going to form a relationship. And, it's pretty much spontaneous to a large degree, because you're dealing with a new environment. You're dealing with all kinds of, changes in the wardrobe, the feel, probably the biggest thing for me was the environment, was the smell of the farmyard, the smell of the cows, the sunlight. What was it? I do remember it was like one of the first days, and we were setting the owl free, and I think her name was Luna.
Yeah.
I just remembered that when on the release of the owl, the freedom that was expressed as she flew away, was like, this is what this film's about. That's the essence of it. Is that a granddaughter's trying to get free, you're releasing this bird into the air to do whatever she's going to do, but you were responsible for finding her and then giving her the ability to find her wings and lead. And it seemed to me that Buck was just trying to do the opposite. He was trying to hold on to a memory that he had of his own daughter, and he had let her go. and she passed. And so that was the dynamic kind of for me, that because I just had to I just felt as that character that he had to cling to her, to his granddaughter, for some kind of sanity
Mhm.
and some kind of, I don't want to say the relief of guilt, but there was a lot of that, and he didn't know how to express it. He didn't know how to entertain, even how to talk to her. He just so anyway, there was a lot of complications in there, but
Mhm.
you know it was fairly easy because I felt like I was working off of Madison and what she was doing, and then the environment we're in the barn, with these animals, and there's this livelihood and all of that, and this girl's trying to get out and pursue something that she has to pursue. And I understand that as an actor, but this guy didn't understand that.
No, I love that. Very well said, Craig. And honestly, I love what you're talking about as far as like being, smelling the farm, being on set, and very much immersing yourself into that world. And your relationship with of course, Madison, who plays Jenny in the film. I'd love to ask you a question, Jenny, but your character brings such a grounded contrast. She's, of course, living with her grandparents. She's passionate about music, but she's also quietly trying to hold this family together, trying to figure out what's going on with Buck in the bank, and just navigating all of these different worlds. It's really, really interesting. How did you tap into that blend of a character who wants to care for her grandfather, but also is extremely passionate about music and kind of wants to leave, but has a respect and love for her grandparents as well? So how did you, tap into that blended character?
Well, I think one of the things that I loved so much about this script and about Jenny is I think that there is no black and white to life. It is full of nuance, and it's full of the in-between, and it's full of the gray. It's never as clear as, oh, I'm going to follow my dreams and that's not affecting anyone else. And I think the reality is you do carry a weight for the people around you, could be if you care because you care. And if you love someone, then what you do, it's not just affecting you. So I think, especially because of Jenny's history and losing her mom, and I think Jenny also feels the weight of not wanting to abandon her grandparents, who they've already gone through this loss together. But I think it's a struggle, and I can, in some capacities, relate moving from South Dakota to follow my dreams in Los Angeles. It's I think there's a lot of growing up in Jenny's story where she doesn't feel like she
Thank you.
deserves to follow her dreams to some capacity. It doesn't even feel possible, and it doesn't even feel real. It really feels like a pipe dream, and I think I can relate to that feeling too. But no, I think Jenny is deeply empathetic, and I think she has a lot of grit. And I think because of where Jenny grew up in, the environment she grew up in with animals and everything, she's knows how to pay attention to nonverbal cues from people, from animals. I think she's good at emotionally reading every nature, people. So I think kind of what Craig was saying, a lot of Jenny, I think, was just being present and paying attention to the behavior of Buck and of her grandmother, and seeing, trying to navigate. It's a lot of inner turmoil. I think there's constantly inner conflict going on with Jenny throughout the entire film, and there is no easy right answer. There's no right answer to anything. So I don't know. For me, it was really interesting to explore because it's just unclear, and it is a constant inner battle. And I think as the audience too, we don't really know what we want her to do.
No. No, yeah, I love that. And a question for you both, Craig and Madison. But of course, there's this tension in your guys' relationship to where, there's this push and pull. There's this conflict, yet deep, deep love and loyalty. What was it like creating that relationship on screen? Was there a specific scene that stands out to either of you that was like, okay, no, you were able to really get into the relationship with this scene specifically?
Um, yeah, there was a lot of that. I think what Madison said is really kind of important. She said nonverbal a lot. There was a lot of that, and the body language. And I remember watching her like in scenes or watching her physical movement. I thought was very interesting because it had a conflict. There was a lot of contained energy that was not being expressed, but then it's like in the film when she's running and playing and doing her thing and having fun on the farm, and the horse and there was a day that she was riding the horses and I was watching and it just there's a feeling of the character Buck looking at this thing this person wanting to find this freedom, and there was a lot of complexity in that. And so just watching her move, it wasn't necessarily in a verbal expression, although Anders did bring up a scene that I really love, which was the scene where it's the last scene in there, and she's deciding whether or not to do this thing, and she's being presented with this option that she really desires. And I thought the way that was played was exceptional. It was really wonderful. Yeah, it's so much of it is nonverbal.
Mm.
On a farm, particularly because you're always looking for clues in the animals. Are they okay? Are they eating properly? Are they getting ready to birth? You're looking for these signs, and so that's what that's where I was registering a lot of stuff for me. The other thing that's not in the movie, I don't think, was we were at the dinner table and it was towards the end of the movie. And we were playing the scene and we were eating these stupid casseroles. And I mean, really, after a while, you know what I'm saying? You really have to go visit the loo. But Madison and I, there was just one moment where we just started laughing and it was like this, we're saying a prayer. and we just started laughing and it was completely wrong.
Yeah.
It was time to do it and it was the wrong time for everything, but it seemed so right.
Yeah.
Because it was like all of that pent up, I can't talk to you, you don't hear me, you don't understand, blah, blah, blah. And we got to, my wife and her grandmother's in the hospital. I mean, it's just crazy, The farm is going to go away. I mean, our whole life is disintegrating. Reading this thing, I don't even know what Hagen thing.
I can get you the clip for it, Micah, if you want.
Please. That sounds great.
Yeah.
I love that.
Beautiful.
That
moment.
outtake is so funny. It makes me smile every time I see it.
In Medicine, was there a specific scene for you?
Well, I think it's interesting. Buck and Jenny are very uncomfortable saying how they really feel to each other. And I think that's part of, this film takes place in a different time. And it's certainly can be a generational thing and it can be a cultural thing too, just being really open about how you're feeling. And it's hard for them to have a conversation about what they're really scared of and what's really going on in a really honest way to each other. And that changes throughout the film, especially because Jenny's grandmother was sort of the middleman who knew how to communicate to both of us. But when she's in the hospital and we don't have that, I think we really have to confront our differences, and that ultimately brings us closer together. But I think in terms of the question is there a scene in particular where I felt like it established our relationship? Is that
Yeah, a scene that stuck out to you.
It stuck out to me. There's so many great
moments for me? I mean, there's moments where we improvise in the barn that are not in the cut too, but I think I just felt really connected to the character and to the moment in those as well. And I don't want to give anything away for people who haven't seen it, but near the end of the film, there's a scene where the community comes together and we're standing outside, and that was a very overwhelming scene to film because all of the people in the cars were from the community who had helped make this film possible. And it felt like a very full circle moment, and it was just a very genuinely emotionally overwhelming in a positive way. But that was a very impactful scene for me, for sure.
Well, thank you, Craig and Madison, both for sharing those stories and insights. You both brought such an authentic feel to the film, to where there was like folks that I of course grew up in the Midwest. I was like, no, I've seen a farmer like buck a million times. Like it was super authentic, and I just loved every second of it. It was very, very cool to watch. If you guys haven't seen the film, you're going to want to go right now to angel.com/greengoldguild. That's where you'll be able to sign up for the Angel Guild and watch this film today. Honestly, I give you permission. If you want to pause this live stream, come back later, watch the film now. Like, I give you full permission, please. angel.com/greengoldguild. I would love to jump also into two amazing partners that really helped with this film, and to get everyone's thoughts and insights. One of the, or let's just say them both. It's the Green Bay Packers and Culver's. Both of these amazing partners helped with this film. And I'd love to talk about Culver's Thank You Farmers Project. It's a project that supports farmers who are really the backbone of so many communities and very much of this nation. And the Packers, and talk about a backbone of a community in that area. Like they are so much more than just a football team. They represent the pride of that area, teamwork, and really they represent so much about the community coming together to support athletic excellence. So that's very, very cool. I would love to tee up a video, a behind the scenes video, of the Green and Gold premiere, where Culver's hosted at Lambeau Field, the home of the Green Bay Packers. Let's play that video now.
We welcome you to historic Lambeau Field in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
You know, after a while, you get tired because you want to do stuff that really means something. But the most important thing about this movie to me was that it represented a spirit. It represented the language that I grew up with, which was value, tradition, hard work, and faith.
And why we're here tonight specifically is stewardship. Caring for what's entrusted to you is really represented in farmers.
Somebody puts a ton of hard work into getting that food into the grocery store or into the restaurants.
There is some kind of deeper spiritual, intrinsic connection that I think they have and that they represent for the world.
I wanted to be a part of a project that brings courage, and it brings love, and it brings compassion, because that's what I want my great-grandkids to remember, is that their great-grandfather stood for something.
Wow, such a powerful video. I'd love to start with the filmmakers behind the film, Anders, Aaron, and Davin. How did these partnerships begin, and how did they shape the film and inspire the film? Let's start with you, Anders.
Yeah, like when you're an independent film, you need help, and you need big help. And so we, the Packers were kind of an obvious one to us. Like they represent. The film kind of has this individual component versus the collective, and they're the collective, this community, that sort of community-owned sports franchise that is more than just athletics. And so, we wanted them to be a part of it from the very beginning, and knew their audience would respond to this really well and kind of be, in the same way like Notre Dame feels about the movie Rudy. We felt like Packers fans could feel about this film. And then, with the Culver's Thank You Farmers Project, one of the things with filmmaking is we always wanted to give more than take. I think that's kind of the odd thing is when you're a film team, you kind of come in and you're asking for a lot of favors, you're shutting down streets, and you're asking. And one of our big passions was like, how could we use this thing to give back? And to give back to farmers. And so when we found out about Culver's Thank You Farmers Project, they've been donating a lot of money to agricultural education, and FFA specifically, which we grew up around a lot of FFA members that were cousins, that kind of thing. And it was like, how can this film inspire a younger generation to, when I was young, farming wasn't cool. It was like, we don't want to be near it. It's trash. Like, you don't make any money. It's a grind. But the intrinsic spiritual sacred nature of what is being done there was never told to us, and we never understood that. We just were taken for granted, that kind of thing. So I think when Culver's watched the film, they responded instantly with they actually, with tears in their eyes, literally on a phone call to us. They're like, we don't want to change anything. How can we help?
Good.
And so we were like, they came in a really, really big way, and we're allowed us to scale up to a theatrical launch that we wouldn't have anyways been able to do otherwise. And so we're really, really grateful to their support and the Packers too, in helping us get the word out. And it's a film that, that means a lot to both of their organizations. It speaks to the heart of what they want to do and what they believe is important in the world. So.
No, I absolutely love that. Something that you were saying is they said, we don't want to change anything. We just want to help. I absolutely love that. And honestly, I feel like it'd be extremely difficult to tell your story without mentioning Culver's and the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah.
Like, those are just such, tent poles of the community. Yeah. And I love that they expressed that with your guys' film. And honestly,
even the product placement, Micah, like we had to volunteer, like, hey, could we put some product like Culver's? Can we put like your logo here or there just as like a thank you? And that's how it happened. Honestly, they didn't ask for anything. Pretty special partnerships.
And of course, Aaron and David, do you have anything to add about, of course, these two amazing companies and their impact on the culture of not just this film, but the area of Wisconsin?
I can go, Aaron. Andrew's covered a great deal, but I think I would just add, we were very intentional with our choice to shoot in Wisconsin. Everything from a lot of our crew to, the Packers and Culver's, like these organizations that we hoped would come on board. When we were filming, or right prior to filming, actually, we got reached out to from a studio that caught wind of the project. It wanted to buy it. And, at that point, it was a pretty lucrative offer for us. And, it would have doubled our money. And there was some, a lot of other perks to it. But one of the stipulations was we would have had to shoot in an outside state, like a tax incentive state, which is, very enticing and very smart. But, for us, we had this community there. We had these potential organizations. They felt like there was a lack of authenticity with trying to do something like that. But just to tie it back into the organizations, there's like so much social equity there because the Packers and Culver's are so Wisconsin based. And so, when you think of them, it's like immediately there's like this essence and presence to them. So, I think whether or not it was the right decision is hard to say, but it felt right. And it still does feel right and felt true to what we were trying to do there. So.
No, I love that. Aaron, do you have anything to add?
No, just to jump off of what David was saying about not going to a tax incentivized state. It definitely helps the film, but there was so much, I'd say, relational equity and value that were pulled out of Wisconsin. I'd say far outweighed what we could have gotten anywhere else. Yeah. It was authenticity and relationships that made create this film. So.
No, I absolutely love that. And honestly, to close, I would love to just offer the opportunity for anyone to have any final words, anything they'd like to say about the film. But before we do that, I'd love to just bring up that this film is coming to the Angel Guild July 4th. And I love that because not only is this film just a beautiful representation of community coming together and everything else like that, but July 4th is very much us as Americans gathering around and celebrating this country. And I think this film is such a beautiful way to celebrate that. So this July 4th, please take the time, sit down with your family. Honestly, it aligns so well with the holiday of July 4th, but angel.com/green gold guild. So sign up for the guild, watch this film today. But let's go around the group and any final words that you have to say to our Angel audience about this film, or whatever you'd like to say. Who would like to go first?
Well, I'll go. Why not? I was the last one in. It's really a tribute in a lot of ways to the romantic in all of us, and I think Aaron said in the beginning, hope. But it's like I think for me the movie that was translated from a really wonderful script was, in essence, poetry of sound and rhythm and light and nature. And it talks and it speaks to what all of us long for, which is a search not only for love, but for just being connected. And if we can let down the guard, our guard, the mask that we wear most of the time, and be presented with that option, can I love? And am I willing to be loved? And can I listen? And when I speak, will I be heard? If we can do that, and I think what this movie does is force you, not only musically, but I think in essence, to pay attention to each other. And I think we need to hear each other, and I think we need to be able to relate to each other in a way that is basic and intrinsic. And I think the movie that at least is presented forces us to do that, or you reject it. And that's why I think it's such a wonderfully faith-based movie. For me anyway, because that touches at the essence of what I've been trying to do with my life. So I would just appeal to the people that want to go see a great movie with heart. But more than that, there's a rhythm to it that's just so wonderful.
No, that's great. Aaron, let's start with you next.
Try to top that, Aaron.
It's hard to follow. Hard to follow
good
up
luck.
with that. I'm just gonna second the connection bit. I hope, look around your room, your family, connect. That's really what it comes down to. And those in your community around you too. I'll leave it at that.
No, that's
that was
great.
powerful, Craig.
Well said. And David?
Yeah. Just to add, I guess I would say look for all the little nuances. I feel like we packed a lot in, just 90 minutes. And even for myself, I've seen it so many times, and there's still a lot of little bits and little notions from Greg or Madison. And like you're saying, there's a lot of unsaid things in the film that can be taken away. So
I love that. And Madison, any final words?
Well, I think Craig said it beautifully, and that resonated with me a lot in how I also view the film. I think it is so easy these days to get caught up in a lot of things that don't feel real with our phone. One thing I love about the film is there's no phone, there's no use of technology in it. And I think it's a good reminder to slow down and to take things in and to let yourself be affected by things. I think let yourself be affected by the films that you watch, let yourself be affected by the wind, all of these things in our real life. I think we sometimes forget about the tangibility of it all. And I think one of my favorite things is that this film highlights that. And growing up in South Dakota in the 90s, all of this meant a lot to me. And I feel like childhood was so much getting your hands in the dirt. And I think this film captures that really well and has this beautiful timeless nostalgia to it. And I hope that people can watch it and kind of be re-inspired about their own youth and how they want to live their, how they want to live their life.
Yeah, so powerful. And Anders, any final thoughts?
Yeah, I think, there's so much work that goes into these. It's some people are like, oh, you're just making movies, but I think at the core of it, we're casting vision, and we're trying to like scratch at hope and truth and beauty. And our company is called Child, the production company that me and David started, and that like what stories do we want to be around for our children? What kind of guideposts can they use that we believe are true, at least at this point in our life, and feel are right? And I remember Craig even saying that that's something when he read the story, he's like, this is something I want to impart to my children and my grandchildren. And I think there is like something in this film beyond us, like, we're the stewards of it that brought it to life, that I think holds some great importance beyond what we know. And we're we've been blessed to be along this journey for 5 years, and we're so honored to be able to share it with people and excited. And the responses already I've had probably 4 or 5 people reach out to me and be like, did you write this based on my story? It's like, no, but I know it's true. I know there's truth in this. I know that longing for home that's been rediscovered. So so I guess just a heartfelt gratitude too for the Angel Guild and you guys giving us a chance to share it with your audience. And we're excited to inspire families and children and grandparents, everybody.
No, that's so well said, everyone. Like that was wonderful. And I just want to take the time to thank you all for joining me on tonight's stream. Thank you, Craig, Madison, Anders, Dave, and Aaron, for not just joining the stream, but creating this project, for pouring a part of your heart into this. And I think it's reflected so well in the film. I think the Angel Guild has so much to look forward to when they sit down with their family and watch this. Angel.com/Green Gold Guild. Sign up for the guild. Watch it today. It's a perfect 4th of July movie. It really is. You're missing out if you have not seen this movie. So please take the time. And once again, thank you all so much for joining and talking about your project. And we'll have to bring you back on with a new project here pretty soon. Like,
let's do it.
The amount of talent here is just crazy. So please bring something back to Angel. We'd love to have you back.
Thank you, Micah. That means a lot.
Thank you all so
Thanks
much.
for having us.
Bye. Thanks for joining us for this special live stream celebrating green and gold. We hope you had as much fun as we did hearing from the team and reliving some of the heart behind this film. You can stream Green and Gold right now on Angel. It's perfect for the 4th of July weekend to enjoy at home, post-fireworks show, or just winding down with your loved ones. And you can watch it today by going to angel.com/Green Gold Guild. And if you want to help bring more stories like this to Angel, join the Angel Guild. It's a community that makes films like this possible. And thank you so much again, and we'll catch you on the next live stream. Keep an eye out on social media for more information coming soon. To end, please enjoy this sneak peek of Green and Gold. Thank you so much, and have a good night.
For my grandpa Buck, farming wasn't a job or even a way of life. It was a sacred act.
Easy, easy, easy.
For him, it wasn't the frozen tundra. It was the Garden of Eden.
Does your granddad know where you're headed?
He knows I'll be home later.
I couldn't do farming anymore. I was on my way out for some bigger dreams.
This ain't your land.
Well, when you don't pay your loan, it becomes my land.
What was that about?
Where the hell you been?
Talked to Godie. Apparently she's got some musicians staying up at her cabin up on the big lake.
I'm Jenny.
Jenny, local musician. Godie said you might be stopping by.
How much do we owe the bank?
You think I like tearing down the little guy, Buck? You think I like it?
Well, your license plate says a-hole.
I will make a little wager with you. The pack go all the way, I will give you another year interest-free. And if they lose, you sign everything over to me.
Take it.
Oh, we ain't betting folks, Johnny.
I want to take your tape and share it with my manager. Your granddaughter's, she's really talented.
Yeah, I know that. You do anything to hurt her, and I will hunt you down, and I'll gut you like a 10-pointer.
Great.
What do you think you're doing? I'm gonna take the bet.
You better pray God owes the pack a favor.
You know that no one cares about her little slice of nothing in the middle of nowhere.
I do.
I want to hear you before you become rich and famous.
No guarantee of that. You go chasing your hopes and your dreams, you forget who you are, and there is nothing worth the cost of losing everything that's wild and free.
In real life, miracles don't always arrive on time,
And the pack beat the bears.
and the good guy doesn't always win.
You still believe in what we're doing?
More than anything.
Go back.
Wish the Packers good luck, and Brett Favre can chase me around the field anytime.
If it's okay, I'd like to start by telling you why I wrote this song.
The sun's out and the water is clear as gin in God's corner of paradise. We welcome you to Telephone Time, where we buy, sell, and talk all things green and gold. We're gonna head to something called GT. You're on the air.
Hey, Bart! Hey! Hey, Bart, come on, wait a minute.
Come on, girl. Go, kid. Come on in. Yeah. Come on in. Oh, man. Well, look at you. What happened? Hey, little one. Oh, easy, easy. Nice, sweet boy. Wow. Oh, you're pretty. Easy, easy, easy. How'd you get in here?
It's Max! Max McGee! Her calf is stuck! I've never seen anyone stuck this bad. I need help. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay, girl.
Okay, you got this, no problem.
My legs are wrapped. I need a rope. Get me a rope.
No, you're strong enough, Jenny. No rope. Pull, pull.
I am pulling.
Twist and pull. Come on now. Yeah, good. Good job. Good. Oh, good. Good. Come on. She's okay. Okay.
Oh, come on, let's get you a chair. Come on. That's a girl. That's a good girl.
Yeah. Good.
Hi.
Oh, my. Hey, listen. You gotta quit shooting at that light because you're scaring the heifers. I mean, you hit it, Joni Mitchell. You're gonna get your little tail up there and fix it.
I got an early start at the Haywards. There's a little bit left, but I was gonna go meet with some friends who are back from college.
Oh, yeah, college, yeah. Right.
Now, some people value a formal education.
Well, I'll tell you something. Redneck Tech has a fine education.
Yeah. Nothing like butchering plow at the top of the resume. No, if we didn't farm like the Amish.
Jenny, you know you're smarter than most and you're more savvy,
I'm not
too.
saying
I
I'm
tell
not
you,
grateful, I'm
what
just
a
saying.
college education gets you.
It might be nice to travel or,
Something wrapped in plastic and you shove it right in the
See
microwave.
the world, experience something.
Oh, I travel.
War travels don't count. We live in the middle of nowhere.
Huh?
War travels don't count. We live in the middle of nowhere.
Hey, stop it! Right now! You know who you're sounding like? Your mother.
And?
You want to be a music gypsy and you want to have a child out of wedlock, you go right ahead.
Morning. I think Max is needing some help.
You know, well, you call it that and muck the bullpen before you go.
Okay. Got a little, something.
For my grandpa Buck, farming wasn't a job or even a way of life.
When you look at the NFC North this year, it's a shooting match. And that means the road to the Super Bowl might come right through Lambeau Field.
It was a sacred act. And from what he could tell, most of the problems for man stemmed from the fact that he no longer had his hands in the dirt. Or cheered for the Green Bay Packers. For him, it wasn't the frozen tundra. It was the Garden of Eden, where he was Adam and, with a rotating group of optimistic young farmhands, got to name the cows. Max McGee, Bart Starr, Jerry Kramer, Willie Davis. All after the '67 championship team. And the pigs. One was named Ditka, for obvious reasons. No salesman could convince him that buying the newest and greatest equipment would improve anything that actually mattered to him. I couldn't do farming anymore. I was on my way out for some bigger dreams than just squeezing Jerry Kramer's teats.
You want to get that?
No, I got it. Shovel it. Gotta go.
I haven't seen all my things. Yeah, okay.
Hey, Buck's new manager's here. You might want to get dressed.
Oh, you're worried I'm gonna cause him to have impure thoughts.
Woo! So much sass so early in the morning.
Apple tree. Does your granddad know where you're headed?
He knows I'll be home later.
Well, give him the beans.
Gotta run.
Wait, we gotta
go.
All nature sings while we rings, we go back to here. Looking for answers but can't see our way in the dirt. Out in the distance, a voice calling out draws my gaze. She sounds like my mother and I feel a peace through her pain. Once in a while I feel the ghost, but she knows my name. Wonder if I still look the same. All things grow in the maple grove. Through the wild will know time is shown. All things grow, all things move. Where the wind always, where the seeds This is still our home. All things go on.
Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Hey, is that my shift drink?
You sure you're old enough?
Legal age where I grew up is deer camp.
Not too shabby for your first time. Maybe you should talk about some more shows.
Thanks. Yeah, that would be awesome.
Why? Let's get the hell out of here.
Well,
No, I mean,
sorry, bud.
yeah, right. You're sorry like hell. Your dad wouldn't have done anything like this.
I would have.
Oh, he would? No, he wouldn't. He understood the importance of things and how they're made.
Who cares how it's made? They just want to cheat.
No, they care. They care if they understand.
What was that about?
Where the hell you been? Your grandma's in the barn. You give her a hand.
Come here. Come on. I know, Daddy. Come here. Hey, come here. Come on.
You know what's going on out there?
Oh, if I hear yelling, it's usually something he doesn't like on the radio. I wish he'd come in here and give us a hand. No, this one's having trouble taking.
Oh, come here. Might just be the angle.
Huh.
That's good. That's good, Fuzzy. I made some money at the show.
Oh, that's wonderful. Oh, yeah, telephone time is starting to take special guests. Now, come on. Come on. There's so many people who'd love to hear you sing.
Yeah, maybe when I'm 60, my hair's falling out.
I see God smile when you sing. I do. Yeah. Talked to Godie today. Apparently she's got some musicians staying up at her neighbor's cabin up on the big lake. Bill, somebody, I don't know, Ride.
Reed?
Hmm?
Billy Reed?
Yeah, that's it.
Really? What is he doing up here?
She said maybe you should stop by and say hello. And maybe don't mention it to you-know-who. That's my girl.
I still remember throwing stones outside your window, waiting for you in the rain. We carved our names on the bench on Primrose Hill. We didn't think they'd fade away. I've got one thing, I've got wherever I go, wherever I go, honey.
Like walleyes to worms, we're going back to the lines. TT, you're on the air.
Hey, this is Giggles, and I'm calling about the Packers. We're going to take her all the way to the Super Bowl this year.
Lines are open.
We welcome you to historic Lambeau Field in Green Bay, Wisconsin. As we get set to kick off against the Rams, there's a buzz in the air.
Take off the headphones, it's rude. Did you feed Fuzzy? Clean the goat shed? Comb for eggs? Water the horses?
I'll do that later. Who's that guy in the red car yesterday?
I'd get up earlier next time.
Thank you so much to our wonderful choir for that beautiful song. I'm reminded of the words of Wendell Berry, who wrote, "All goes back to the earth. So I do not desire pride of excess or power, but the contentments made by men who've had little. Fishermen's silence receiving the river's
Cripes,
grace.
I gotta go.
The gardener's
He's talking
musings in the
truth
roads.
up there if you just listen.
Kickoff's any
I
second now.
lack the
Come
peace
on.
of simple things.
With Poet Longfellow here, he's bound to take us into sermon number 2.
Signed you up to serve soup lunch afterward.
We sell
What?
the world by fire.
You gotta go where the horse's boss's orders get you home.
And that has bent my mind, made me think of darkness, and wish for the dumb life of roots.
Hi, Billy? Billy? Hi.
Can I help you?
Hi, I'm Jenny. I'm from a few farms over.
Jenny, local musician.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure I love that description, but
Gordy said you might be stopping by.
you know, if you like to fish, there's a crib just left of the inlet, and after sundown, it's a fishy cast. I don't know why I'm talking about fishing so much.
Sounds nice. If I had time, I definitely would.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Look, I don't really get the opportunity to meet a lot of musicians around here. Like, you know, real ones. And so when Godey told me that you might be down here, I just thought maybe I would come down and introduce myself and show you my work.
That's gutsy. I like it. You got tape or?
Yeah. Dude, I mean, it's homemade. I made it at the farm, so it's a little rough, but
You farm?
yeah.
It's fascinating. I'm trying to, like, I don't know, write with more emphasis on the natural elements, you know, the earth, dirt, soil. Help silence my irrational thoughts.
Yeah, well, my address and number are on the back, so if you want to stop by or something, yeah, no pressure.
I'll give it a listen.
Booyah. Thanks. Enjoy your night.
We hope you enjoyed that sneak peek. To continue watching the full movie and gain VIP access to our entire library, join the Angel Guild. What is the Angel Guild? The Angel Guild is a group of hundreds of thousands of people like you transforming the industry. We want you to become a guild voter and greenlight our next hit project. Most films are greenlit by a few corporate elites. Ours are greenlit by you. At Angel, we cannot release a project unless it's been approved first by the Angel Guild. You get to have a voice in changing the film industry with stories that amplify light. Angel Guild members have greenlit shows like The Wingfeather Saga, The King of Kings, and Tuttle Twins, shows that are teaching children positive messages of family, faith, and building a hopeful future. We believe in telling excellent, meaningful stories. Your membership directly contributes to the production of more projects, allowing filmmakers to make more quality shows faster. Our goal is to reach 1 million members in the Angel Guild. This will allow us to fund up to 5 seasons of TV shows like The Wingfeather Saga, Tuttle Twins, and others on a continual basis. In addition, your Angel Guild membership also grants you bonuses and perks that we are constantly adding to. Perks like complimentary movie tickets to every new Angel release in theaters, Guild early access to film and TV shows before they're made free to watch, opportunities to give your feedback to filmmakers, Guild exclusive live streams, discounts on Angel merch, and so much more. Join the Angel Guild today and help us make movies that matter to our children, our families, and the world. Welcome to the future of entertainment.